I'm excited to announce that I've just passed $61,935 in Algo profits, or also £50,000. This comes to about $12 an hour for all the time I've invested over the past 2 years of learning and practicing algorithmic trading. It's definitely been a journey, but I can say with confidence that it's been 100% worth it. I've learned so much along the way, and I'm excited to share some of the best pieces of advice that I've had that have changed my algorithmic trading. This is Unbiased Trading, and let's get straight into this. First, chasing the perfect algo is a fool's errand. It just doesn't exist. The best algos are those that work well together in a portfolio, covering each other's drawdowns and yielding consistency. I wasted at least 3 months scrapping pretty good ideas because I wasn't convinced that they were the one. It wasn't until I started thinking about algos in terms of portfolios that I really started to see some real progress. There are some amazing algos out there. You can, if you were a hedge fund or things like that, you could do market making, which pretty much guarantees you profit. Now, I would expect most people watching my channel aren't somewhere like that. If you are, then congratulations. That's an awesome algo you can run on a lot of capital. But for most of us that are retail traders, a portfolio of algo is going to be the ultimate algo in terms of that word. Don't try and look for, someone's perfect algo that has a 100% win rate or 90% win rate or whatever it is. It just doesn't exist most of the time, okay? I've gone through a lot of those. I've looked for a lot of those. I talk to so many traders, and I've never really personally seen something that is just extraordinary. I've seen very good setups. Like, I've seen ones that I was like, damn, this is something, you found something very good here. But then I've also seen a bit worse that have still been acceptable to put into a portfolio. So definitely, explore and start to think of your algorithmic trading as a portfolio of algos and not just trying to find that one algo. Getting into algorithmic trading can be both daunting and exciting. There are endless markets to choose from, but each one is unique and requiring different styles and strategies. When you're first starting out, it's best to focus on one market and learn it inside and out. This will give you the best chance of success. Now, originally, I had this kind of weird perception that if you made an algo, it should work for multiple markets. I'm not really too sure where I got that. I think it's, maybe some old people I used to watch maybe said or something like that. But I think that's a general impression a lot of people have. And this just isn't really true. Each market is very different. So let's do a really extreme one. Let's say small caps and futures. If you try to put the same algo on both those, there is no way in hell it will work. Even if you did something a bit more similar, so let's say you did ES and NQ. Well, NQ is a lot more volatile, so there's going to be differences there. Maybe if you're doing a very broad trend following system, it could work sort of well, but I would still argue that, more focusing on one market at a time is going to be always better than trying to make an algo fit for multiple kind of markets. Now, you have to be careful that you're not, super overly fitting it just for one particular market. The way I do this personally is I try and not do the same strategy for different markets. Now, that doesn't mean I don't take the same kind of concepts, but I definitely don't take the exact same parameter values and sometimes even parameters into the same or into different markets. So that's at least one way I try and avoid that. Overfitting is the boogeyman of algorithmic trading. It's when your algos learn the training data too well and it doesn't generalize well to new data or live data. There is no foolproof way to avoid overfitting. However, there are a number of balancing techniques and tests that can help you reduce the risk. The best way to avoid overfitting is to use a variety of different datasets for training and testing, and you can also use different methods such as Monte Carlos, parameter sensitivity testing, out of sample testing, walk forward optimization, having fewer parameters than more parameters, which we'll kind of touch on in a bit as well. But this is something you need to be aware of, and with a lot of trading, it isn't a binary 1 or 0. You haven't cracked the formula of that you'll never have an overfitted strategy. I think personally, I've maybe had 2, and that was more on the early end of when I started, doing back testing and creating algorithmic strategies. However, from then, normally if you apply enough of the tests, you're going to be very unlikely to fall victim to overfitting. It still can happen, don't get me wrong, especially if you're training over the same data multiple times, then that's, it's a bit more likely to happen. But yeah, just biggest takeaway here is overfitting is a thing that can happen, but there is no way for you to cure it or not do it. You just have to, put enough measures up and tests in place to hopefully prevent you from getting overfitted on a strategy. Algos remove the emotion from individual trades, but you're still the one in control of the algo. Before you go live with your algo, it's important to make sure that you can handle the drawdowns, volatility, and tail risks. You also need to give your algo enough time to be profitable. Don't expect to get rich quick. Algorithmic trading really is a long-term game. This kind of applies to a lot of trading, in my opinion, but this is a common misconception I see more newer or maybe markety kind of traders on Twitter say, is if you run an algo, you have no more emotions. This just isn't true. You are fundamentally in control of that algo. You could change the parameters, you can change the values, you can turn it off and on. You could add more size, you could lower size. There's so many ways you can adjust an algo, and you still do need discipline and psychology applied to it. And for how much, if someone's been watching me for a while or on Twitter, I don't like the word discipline. I don't think it's specific enough, and I think it's thrown around too much. But the way I normally build discipline is I spend enough time doing the testing, reading what better people or better traders say about this and what mistakes they've fallen victim to, and it is consistent. No one gets far in algorithmic trading or really normal trading if you're constantly changing based on the way you feel on that day or the previous day or anything like that. So you need to be sure when you're taking a strategy live that you're looking at the historical equity curves, you're looking at the Monte Carlos, and you're thinking, is this something I can actually handle if this was live today? Could I handle that 20% drawdown? Could I handle that 10% drawdown? Could I handle the volatility between how it gains 20% and then loses 10%? It sounds like a mundane task, but it's very important to deeply think about for, give it a day, give it 2 days. Think if this is something that you could really execute. You can also take it onto a sim account, see how it kind of feels there. Now, obviously a sim account doesn't really have much emotion coming into it, but you could at least see how the, recent volatility of that equity curve is playing out. You could even try it on a bit of small size, but still, it's something you have to be very aware of. I personally know, fundamentally, in my hearts of hearts, I know I'm not very good at handling volatility, so I always prioritize low drawdown kind of strategies. I'm not looking for the biggest P&Ls. I'm not looking for exponential growth. I am currently just looking at low drawdown. Normally that kind of correlates with high win rates, and I'm looking for consistency. I want a strategy that is going to be consistently trending upwards and hopefully won't provide me too much volatility in betweens of that. Now, it sounds like the dream. I think it is possible, but it's going to be a lot lower P&Ls than people expect. You're not going to really find one of those strategies that's just going to slowly trend you up to 1 million in a year or something like that. A lot of those are a lot lower. Obviously, you can apply more capital, but then it gets more complex because you may have liquidity constraints and other things that come into it. I used to believe that algos had to be complex to have an edge. However, through my own testing and speaking to other successful quants, I've really learned the simplest edges are often the most robust and profitable. You don't need hundreds of variables to uncover an edge. In fact, the more complex your algo is, the more likely it is to be overfit. Now, I really used to believe, to some extent, that, if everything was so simple, if it was just simple parameters, everyone would be doing that. There would be no edge left. Now, it's something very hard to argue against. I think it does still have a part of truth to it. If everyone knows it, which is the key part, then it does get, edge erosion, and it starts to become not really very profitable. But that doesn't mean you can't find simple things that other people aren't speaking about all online, or even just generally. So a great example that's hopefully kind of puts my point in perspective is US equity markets have trended upwards for as long as I can remember in basically every historical chart. Now, if you place a general trend following strategy, now it may not be the hugest profits, it may not be the hugest win rate and what everyone likes, but it's still profitable, and they're very simple parameters most of the time. Now, if that was under the assumption that if it was a simple edge, it wouldn't exist, then that strategy shouldn't exist today. There shouldn't be simple trend following strategies, but there are. And the reason for that is there are logical things underneath it. So as we know, US equities are normally going to be trending upwards. If the US economy keeps on getting better, or at least just US stocks, then those trend following strategies will probably continue to work. And the same way that they can be very good short-based ones in between of when we're getting drawdowns in the US equity markets. Because we will always get that natural flow of upwards and down moves, and it's just a general accepted thing that markets normally trend most of the time. Now, that doesn't mean they trend, every day, but it's more over a long enough time period they will trend. So there's things like that kind of put in perspective that simple edges really can exist. And you can go even deeper with this. You can listen to Robot James, where he talks about simple arbitrages between different markets and things like that. But there has been a very common trend that most of my strategies, the more simple I've made them, the better they've done live. They may not look the most pretty on a backtest, but they have still done better live. Now, you should still always backtest every strategy. This is not what I'm saying. It's like, if it's a simple strategy, just take it live. You don't need to worry about backtests. It's more that, to put in perspective that when you're doing something like a backtest, you're only using maybe 5 variables, it seems kind of stupid because you're doing such little variables. There's really not much being changed based off those variables. But if it is consistently profitable, it is something to look into and is normally being the best kind of strategies for me. That was a bit of a rant, but hopefully that makes sense. It's a bit of a hard thing to convey straight just off the top of my head, but hopefully that was helpful. These are just a few pieces of advice that have changed my algo trading for the better. If you're serious about becoming a successful algo trader, I encourage you to take these lessons to heart. And by the way, Ninja Trader really needs to add a portfolio analyzer. So if anyone's listening from Ninja Trader, please, that would be great. I'd really love to use it. And I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like it and share it with anyone else who might be interested.